In a vast, untamed wilderness where towering trees whispered ancient secrets and rugged peaks sliced the sky, Alex found himself unexpectedly caught in a whirlwind of peril and wonder. He had always felt a deep connection with nature, and that fateful morning, as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, he ventured into the forest with nothing but a backpack, a notebook, and a heart full of wanderlust. The crisp, dewy air and the earthy aroma of moss and pine rejuvenated his spirit, until the forest revealed a more ominous tune, a symphony laced with suspense and silent cries for help. As he wandered deeper into the wild, lost in thought and awe at the beauty around him, Alex stumbled upon a quiet clearing bordered by wildflowers and ferns. There, he discovered a small, trembling feline with an unmistakable look of desperation in its eyes. This was no ordinary cat. Its fur was matted and scarred from countless struggles against the elements, as if nature itself had left its mark. At that very moment, Alex's heart froze. The sight of the distressed creature sent a jolt through his entire being, a stark reminder of the vulnerability of life in this untamed place. The little cat, which Alex later named Whiskers, had been caught in a cruel snare set by poachers. Its eyes, filled with both fear and a fragile glimmer of hope, silently pleaded for rescue. Alex's mind raced with memories of animal cruelty and environmental disregard, and yet, amid the dread, a spark of determination ignited within him. He knew he had to act, not only to save Whiskers but also to stand against the exploitation of nature. Moving cautiously, Alex approached the trapped feline. Every step was deliberate, each move laced with both caution and urgency. The forest around him seemed to hold its breath, the gentle chirping of birds, the soft rustle of leaves, and in the distance, the ominous sound of muffled human voices hinted at a looming threat. Suddenly, a loud crack shattered the silence, echoing through the trees like a gunshot. In that heart-stopping moment, Alex's pulse quickened as he realized that the poachers had returned. Time seemed to slow down as the gravity of the situation overwhelmed him. Should he attempt to free Whiskers immediately, or hide and wait for the danger to pass? The tension was palpable, and a wave of horror swept over him when he noticed that the poachers were armed and determined. The forest, once a sanctuary of natural beauty, had transformed into a battleground of survival. Kneeling beside Whiskers, Alex saw the animal's wide, desperate eyes lock onto his own. In that silent exchange, an unspoken understanding passed between them, a mutual recognition of courage and vulnerability. The skies darkened suddenly, and an unexpected downpour began, blurring the line between earth and sky. The relentless rain added to the chaotic symphony, but Alex's focus remained singular: he had to save Whiskers. Just as he prepared to work on the snare, rustling from the nearby bushes signaled the arrival of the poachers. Their silhouettes emerged from the shadows like harbingers of greed, their eyes glinting with malice. Alex's heart froze once more as the reality of the danger engulfed him. In that moment, with the rain mixing with his sweat and fear, he knew he had to act swiftly. With no time to lose, Alex devised a plan. He picked up a smooth stone from the forest floor and hurled it towards a distant thicket. The stone struck with a resounding crash, momentarily distracting the poachers. That brief lapse in their attention was all he needed. With trembling hands, he knelt beside Whiskers and began to work on the snare. Each second ticked by agonizingly as the rain made his fingers slippery, and every heartbeat echoed like a drum of defiance against the chaos surrounding them. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Alex managed to free Whiskers. The feline whimpered softly, its tiny body shuddering with a mix of pain and relief. But just as hope began to flicker in Alex's chest, a new danger emerged. Out of the murk of the forest, a fallen tree, loosened by the torrential rain, started sliding dangerously down the slope. In an instant, the wild transformed into a dynamic arena of survival. Alex's eyes widened in terror as the massive trunk hurtled toward them. Without a second thought, he shielded Whiskers with his own body. The tree's impact was deafening, a thunderous collision that sent shockwaves through the clearing. Dust and debris filled the air, and for a split second, time itself seemed to pause in the aftermath of the chaos. When the dust finally began to settle, Alex found himself lying amid broken branches and scattered leaves, Whiskers clinging to him with fierce determination. Catching his breath, Alex slowly rose to his feet and helped Whiskers stand. The poachers had long since vanished into the dense foliage, their sinister intentions thwarted by a combination of human courage and nature's unpredictable fury. As he sat on a fallen log, reflecting on the ordeal, he recalled every heart-stopping moment, the time his heart froze at the sight of the trapped feline, the wave of horror that swept over him as the poachers advanced, and the resounding crash that marked nature's own rebellion. In the quiet that followed the storm, Alex felt a deep transformation within. He realized that the rescue of an animal was not merely an act of compassion, but a profound statement of respect for the natural world. The forest, with its ancient trees and untamed beauty, had challenged him and, in return, had bestowed upon him a renewed understanding of life itself. As the rain subsided and gentle beams of sunlight pierced through the remaining clouds, Whiskers nuzzled Alex with an almost human-like expression of gratitude. It was a silent promise, a vow of eternal thanks from a creature who had faced the darkest corners of danger and emerged with hope intact. The forest, too, seemed to whisper its approval in the rustling leaves and the soft murmur of a returning breeze. In that moment, Alex understood that every life, no matter how small, was intricately woven into the grand tapestry of nature. His heroic journey in the wild had not only saved Whiskers but had also deepened his commitment to protecting the environment from those who sought to exploit its treasures. With each step away from the clearing, the lessons of that day echoed within him, a reminder that the wild, with all its beauty and unpredictability, demanded our respect and care. Every whisper of the wind, every gentle rustle of the leaves, carried a message of resilience and hope. The memory of that day would forever remind Alex that nature's call was both a challenge and a blessing, urging all who heard it to stand up for what is right. And as he continued his journey through the forest, with Whiskers by his side, the unbreakable bond between humanity and the natural world shone as a beacon of courage and compassion. If you enjoyed this story, please like and share it. Your comments and feedback inspire us to create more tales that celebrate the beauty of our wild nature and remind us all of the importance of protecting our environment.